That's got to be one of the most like surreal moments.
Surreal moments, because in the moment we didn't know the history that we were
Right.
making.
Mm-hmm. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Stay Tranquilo podcast. Today, we are joined by an FSU legend and many walks of life now in his career. But more than anything, I want to welcome Roberto Aguayo to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here and taking the time to share your story today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to get some conversations going and just, like we're on a beach. We were talking before this, laid back, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You say we're on a beach. It's funny, right? This is the first time we do it on this set. This was kind of a wanted to change the look and feel of it, give the Stay Tranquilo vibe to it. Yeah. And when you said you felt like you were on a beach, that meant we did something right when we put this together. So I'm glad it hit. Yeah. But before we kind of get into the weeds of where you're at now, kind of the trajectory of your football career, your personal career, I want to kind of start from the beginning. Like, tell me a little bit about when football came into your life and where you came from, your family, and just who brought you to who you are today.
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep it short because I can go real deep. But so grew up in Central Florida. My dad was from Mexico, and he met my mom in Florida, and it was me and my brother growing up, and he was a big soccer player. So like soccer was the first thing that we had. We had a soccer ball in our crib from the day we were born, and his goal or his like aspirations were for us to play professional soccer. So we started playing soccer when we were little, and then around 8 years old, my friends were playing tackle football. We had a tackle football team in our area, and I was kind of like, well, my friends are playing it, like, it's like we watch it on TV, like NFL, college football, and I asked my parents, like, can we play football? And they were like, yeah, we'll play football in the fall and then soccer in the spring. This is like when we were 8. When I was 8, my brother was younger. And then that's what got us initially into football, but never with the aspirations of being a kicker. And the first year we didn't kick field goals. The second year we needed to kick field goals. So they lined the whole team up, and I was the only one that could make the kick. And I found it easy. I would watch everyone else, and I'm like, you can't make the kick. And I literally just looked at it as like a soccer ball, and I just got to get it over, instead of keeping it under the goal. And it came easy to me, and that's kind of where it ended up leading to. And we can go into more details of like high school and college, but that's kind of where it started. With never like when I would make those first couple kicks when I was 9 years old, thought of like it leading to where it led me and the opportunities that it's given me. But with my dad and playing soccer and that athletic background that he had, I think instilled in us those traits of determination, teamwork, how to be around a team, and those were the young ages. But we can get into the later ages down.
Oh, for sure. You talk about some of the work ethic that your dad instilled in you. Yeah. How important was that later on in your career? Obviously, playing kind of like peewee ball, and you're making some kicks, but to get to that high school level and then get obviously to the pro and college level, like it takes that extra determination and discipline.
Well, the big thing is, and like when you're little, like you don't realize like what your parents are doing for you to like make you be great. Mm-hmm. You kind of think of it as kind of like, oh, like, the other kids are having fun or they're playing down the street, like their life looks fun and we're over. Like my dad built like little hurdles for us with PVC pipe. He would make goals with PVC pipe. He built a goal in the back of our yard, like a H, so like we could kick field goals and then we could play soccer. And in like when you're young, like you take those things for granted. Yeah. You're just like, oh, dad's like doing this, and like, but he would like have cones. He would have stuff out there for us that were, tools to like make us better. He built like a bench, and it's nothing crazy, but like he built a bench that we would lay it down and we would pass the ball. And he would have us do 100 touches with our right leg. And we were right-footed, but then he would have us do 100 with our left, so we could use both of our legs. Mm-hmm. Because in soccer, if you're one-dimensional, like the defender knows that, and he'll expose you. But if you can use both legs, like that's just an advantage for you. Mm-hmm. So those are the little things that later down the road helped us, with determination and figuring out, like finding out a way to make yourself better, not just on the field, but in other areas of life now. But it all started from like people say like, oh, how are you so good, or how are you like I feel like without those things, like you can just say, oh, go play outside, or not even that, like just if he was like, oh, like we'll go practice whenever we go to practice. But then when you're home, like you can go play with your friends. Mm-hmm. I feel like we would have never got to where we are now, so. Which,
you see that pretty much as a common denominator amongst a lot of the guys that make it to that level. Obviously, there's a God-given talent that you have, but there's the level of work ethic that is put in that people don't even see years prior to the point that got you to where you got to, right? Mm-hmm. It's like Javon had a documentary that dropped with the Giants recently, and it reminded me a lot of that. Like there's like the little at-home films with him and his dad working him out in the garage, probably while other guys are just hanging out, having some fun, and he's there doing push-ups, pull-ups, squats, box jumps, like all these things, and it's like, well, clearly it paid off.
Yep. And it's like you like my dad never was. There's different levels of it, but he never forced us,
right?
But it was in a way where sometimes, like, you didn't want to do it, but like he found a way to explain it and make us enjoy it still. Mm-hmm. But he was hard on us, right? Like in games, like, oh, he wasn't just like, oh, good game, like.
Right.
And I think for people to reach that next level or go far in life, I feel like you need that constructive criticism at a young age, and not just say you did bad, did bad, but like here's what you did wrong, here's what you did right, here's how we can get better, to overall get better. What's the goal for you to get better? Like I think dads or parents aren't hard on their children because they want to be hard on their children. Like they do it because maybe they could have done it differently when they were little, or like doing it to like help them eventually grow up and be better and go further in life, because that's all parents want for their children. And now coaching kids and seeing the younger guys coaching, with the kicking academy I have, like coaching them, and I'm a special teams coach at Benjamin. Like it kind of like I have that same mentality that my dad had, teaching these young guys, and some, like, you got to find a way, because some of them are they just how should I say it, they hear words and you hear your tone differently. So you got to understand how to, and that's the part of a coach. That's the part of a mentor. Like, you got to understand how to communicate those things. So being a parent, you're your own coach and your own mentor for your children. But even coaches and mentors that coach ball, like, you got to find the right way, because at the end of the day, you're trying to make the kids better. And if all of them get better, and that's why records are broken, and
it's true.
Plays are made. So I went off on a little tangent.
But it's the truth, right? Like the aspect of coaching and how important it is to development at all levels, right? I mean, it's not like you make it to the pros, there's no more coaches, right? Like even at the highest level, there's coaches there helping you get better, thinking the right mindset. It's quicker speeds, like so many things that you have to adjust to. So it doesn't matter whether you're 8 years old or you're 60 years old. Like the concept of like always learning and always improving at the highest levels through the form of like having mentors and coaching is important, because if not, like there was a guy that we were talking to yesterday at an event, and he brought up like the concept of, the moment that you stop learning and you stop evolving is the moment that you're basically gonna fall, right?
Yeah.
So you always have to be in that constant like growth and constant learning phase.
And it's not just skill, like teaching skill and on the field stuff, but it's also like the discipline.
Yeah.
Like as I'm older now and like have gone through all of that, and now you see the young kids, you see the kids that are undisciplined, you see the kids that are disciplined, and like that goes a long way, not only in if they end up going professional at whatever sport they go to, but like when they they're done with school and they're looking to enter the real world, like the discipline that's taught at a young age like carries with them. And like now, like I like over time, like I've read a lot of books, and like I like reading and learning on like success and like being part of a national championship team, like being around like a team like that, you realize like why were we like it's fun doing that and being a part of it, but it's also you also want to see like how did we do it, like because you want to bottle it up and see like how can we recreate this,
how do you replicate that?
And we tried to do it the next year, but we came up short. And it's funny, we had a guy come in, Dr. Elko. He has a couple books. He speaks to he's like what I just basically said, like success, why people are successful. And that intrigues me. So like going back to the topic of not just skill, not just being great at their craft, the discipline it takes, but like also doing the right things, alignment, assignment, technique, like all these little things help you when you compete. And I know like you like to play golf, and like I didn't start playing golf till I was in college, but I love the sport, and like even going back like to what it teaches you at a young age, it teaches you, how to sportsmanship, all these little intangibles that you might not see. I like those things. It's intriguing, and like so like now when you see kids or like when you coach a team, like you try to put all these things together to help give the player and the team the best shot that they can have.
Yeah, it's essentially the concept of like doing every single thing possible to reach that level of excellence, right? It's not about reaching perfection, right? Because there's that kind of misconception of like what's perfection and what's excellence, and it's like you should not be in the pursuit of perfection. You should be in the pursuit of excellence, and there is no end to that, right? Once you reach perfection, like it's unrealistic. You might think that you reached perfection, but you didn't, because there's some sort of faults and imperfections in the process, right? And that's really what makes, I think, a team or a person excellent. It's the process of understanding like, hey, you're going to make mistakes, but how do you bounce back from those mistakes? You're going to have a bad week. How do you not repeat that same thing over and over again? And I think that's truly what separates the ones that are excellent versus the ones that are not excellent.
And you can get easily caught up in trying to be perfect. And like, for example, like for me, for the position of a kicker, is like you want to be perfect. You can easily get caught up in that. And we'll go back to high school or to Pee Wee, continue the story. So I played soccer, went to high school. Like throughout my Pee Wee years, I would kick, but I also played middle linebacker, tight end. And favorite college team was Florida State. So I enjoyed it. I also played soccer, but I was a bigger kid naturally, so I would gain a little bit weight in the fall, but then I'd have to lose the weight in the spring because the heavier you are in soccer, the harder it is to run. And so fought through those challenges, and then when I got to high school, our senior kicker was focusing on playing soccer. He wasn't going to play football. And the head coach had seen me kick at these Pee Wee games. He's like, we want you to be on varsity as a kicker, but you can't play any other positions because I can't have you getting hurt. Then I don't have a kicker. So then I was like varsity as a freshman, like, that's a huge thing. And I thought about it, and I'm like, am I going to let that go of not being able to play any other position? And like, I enjoyed playing like linebacker and tight end. But I ended up going the route of being a kicker. I knew I was talented. I knew I was good at it, but like not
Were you still
really.
playing soccer at that time too?
So we played soccer after the season, and I didn't tell the coach that I was gonna. He had a varsity spot for me on the team, and I didn't tell him like late enough into the season because I didn't know if I wanted to play soccer, you know. And I at the end, like my buddies were like, "Bro, you gotta play. Like, come on, like you gotta play." So I told him late, and he's like, "Oh, like for making us wait, like we're gonna start you on varsity or on JV." And I was like, "I'm fine. It's fine, whatever." So then the season, like I went into my first game. I think it was like December or February, like after football ended, and I hurt my knee, and I was out for like 3 months. Nothing serious, like ACL. I think it was like something like a contusion.
Yeah.
Contusion. But like I crashed with another kid. Like we were gonna kick, and like my knee hit his like shin or knee, and like I couldn't really like kick or do any like full blown. Like I could like walk, but like the doctor was like, it's gonna take a couple, like a month, 2 months, maybe like 3 months before you can actually like kick again. So that really made me be like, okay, like I'm gonna get hurt in soccer, whatever. And then that was my freshman year. That was my freshman spring. That summer, I get a letter in the mail from Cole's Kicking. I don't know if you know that, but that's like one of the top ranking specialist camps in the country. And they had a camp. They were like, "Oh, come to one of our camps. We've seen you. You're a kicker, blah, blah, blah." And the closest camp was in West Palm Beach at Cardinal Newman. So I told my parents, like, "Mom, this camp's in 2 weeks. Like, we got to go." I convinced them to go. Like, and so then when I went, I was like, "Well, it's a camp. It's a training camp. There's going to be other kids there." Dude, and the number one kicker in the country was there, committed to Auburn, Cody Parkey. And he was a rising senior. I was a rising sophomore. Me and him were the last two in the camp.
Oh, wow.
He had an 80-yard kickoff. I had a 79-yard kickoff. And all the kids are like, "Bro, like, where are you committed? Like, where, like, who are you?" Like,
Yeah, and you're like, I
was like, this is my first camp. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, very humble about it. And like Cody was like, "Man, like you're good. Like, keep it up. Like, you're gonna go somewhere."
Yeah.
And I ended up, after the coach pulled me aside, he pulled my parents aside. He's like, your kid's talented. And like going back to like my dad, like, you know, doing all that stuff for us, that's kind of like one of those like moments where like his work's paid off. I didn't know it at the time. I'm just a kid,
Of
right?
course,
Like,
yeah.
But like now, like, because I'm a father now, so like now seeing that, I bet he was just like, yes, like what I'm doing is working. And so then he's like, "We want to invite your son to come up in 2 months to the National Scholarship Camp where we bring in the best in the country and then we rank them. There's 3 days. You know, you do like 3 field goal sessions, 3 kickoff. You know, you compete with the best of the best, and then they rank you." So in 2 months, you know, we sat down. We're like, "All right, we're gonna make it." And like, I really was a kid that didn't really like come from like much, like we small town, like you know what I mean. Like there wasn't any big names coming. Like we were talking about Columbus, but like my school wasn't in Columbus.
Yeah.
So like this camp was in Wisconsin. Like I think I had been out of the state of Florida probably like once, going back to Mexico when I was younger. But like they're like, "All right, Wisconsin, like you're going. Like, you know, we're gonna stay back. Like you go." So it's kind of like, all right, like this is like my first like kind of big moment to compete, and like I'm gonna be around all these other kickers. Like think about it, it's the second camp. The first camp I went, people were like, "You're kind of like pretty good." So I come from that camp a week after, I get ranked the #1 kicker in the 2012 class. And that's when I was like, all right, like soccer's
something.
done.
Yeah.
Like this could be something like, scholarship, like, and that fast forward through high school, that kid that I competed with at that camp, that was the Auburn kicker, I ended up playing with him in the national championship game.
Oh snap! Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a full circle.
Yeah,
moment.
man.
That's crazy.
I know. And he lives up in Jupiter. And like,
Damn.
I'll see him around every now and then. We'll hang out, we'll play golf.
That's cool.
And but no, I was ranked the #1 kicker, and then so played my sophomore season. That's when all the interest started coming in, all ACC, all SEC.
Because the recruiting process kind of starts right after that. Into that sophomore year.
Exactly. Right into the sophomore year. I just got off from the camp of being ranked #1 in July.
So right there, all the hits start
everything
coming in.
It's kind of like life changed for me, where like you kind of become like a cool kid on campus. You know what I mean? Like,
the hype started to build up.
The hype starts to build, and like, like you get all these letters, and then like slowly people like murmuring, the newspaper wants to talk to you.
True.
Blah blah blah. Like, and that year, that sophomore year, I think I kicked 2 field goals in the same game, 2 51-yarders both ways, like in the same game. So that was putting me in the newspaper, and like Florida State starts coming, and I wanted to go to Florida State.
It was like that was the option. It didn't matter what else was coming in. Like Florida State was it.
Florida State was my #1, but like when you start getting letters from like USC, UCLA,
that's what I'm saying.
Like Oregon, it makes you be like, man, like then you see yourself like, what if I was there? Like, but then you also got to consider like, would I be all the way in the West Coast, like family? You know what I mean? You got to make these considerations, and I was, I've always been like, hey, God has a plan, like, it'll work out. Like, just keep doing my thing. And then it was that next summer, before my junior year, I went to a Florida State kicking camp. So it was the summer after that summer. So the next summer I went to a kicking camp, and I competed against a kid that ended up going to Georgia, but he's from down here. I think he went to American Heritage. But anyways, that's the first time I meet Coach Fisher. And I won the most MVP at that camp.
Wow.
So good for me. Like, I'm on the radar. Like, they've seen me. Like, special teams coach was Eddie Gran. And so win the camp there, bring me up, bring the whole family up, go up to the facility, see the trophies, see all the, Chris Winkie, I'm in awe. And, they're like, your son's very good, we're thinking about, we probably will have to recruit your year because of the guy we have now, Dustin Hopkins. He might leave early the way he's kicking, but we can't guarantee anything. Right. So then we leave, we're like, oh, thank you, coach, whatever. Like, they're like, we're going to be watching you this season. Like, keep on having a great season, and we'll probably we'll see how Dustin does this year. We'll make a decision, but it looks like we'll probably we're going to scholarship a kid for your year, the 2012 year. Season goes, my junior year. I come back up for junior day in January. January of my junior year. They bring me up, and there's that other kid that's there. His name was what was his name?
He's the one that ended up going to Georgia.
Yes. So basically, it was between me and him. Coach brought us in. Coach brought my mom in. Dad, brother was there, and he's like, "So we're taking a guy. It's either gonna be you or him." I'll remember his name. And he's like, "You're a great kicker. You had a great junior season. He also had a great junior season. We got to figure out what we're gonna do." He's like, "But it's not gonna take long. Like, we're gonna let you know within like week or two. He's like, but it won't take long. And for some reason, like, I was like very calm. I don't remember me like being like, dang,
Like kind of like
why
stressed
did I
out,
get
like,
the offer? Yeah. On the drive home, my mom was like crying. I'm like, Mom, why are you crying? She's like, I really want you to get this offer. Like, you really want to go to Florida State. You know, moms, like,
Yeah, of course, they're always gonna overreact to everything else. Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, like, it's okay. Like, God's plan. Like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right.
Like, obviously, like me, yeah, like I want to go here, but if they pick the other guy, like I'll have another opportunity. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And get back home, go to school. I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday of that next week. I'm in second period, like right before lunch. And my head coach comes and knocks on the door, and he talks to my teacher, and he's like, my teacher's like, Roberto, like your head coach Banks wants to see you. And everyone in the class is like, oh, you're in trouble. Like you're in trouble. And I'm thinking like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Why is coach coming? And he pulls me out. He's like, how's your day going? I'm like, good. Like, what? He's like, I got Coach Fisher on the phone. He's like, I think this is the call you've been waiting for. And he gives me the phone, and I'm like, I get goosebumps. I'm like, and think about it, you're a junior, like in high school. What am I, like 15?
You're 16 years old, maybe.
Like, hello, Coach Fisher.
Coach Fisher, hello.
He's like, hey, boy, how you doing? Like, he's like, I told you. He's like, I told you we weren't gonna make you wait that long. And he's like, I want you to, like, the coach staff, Coach Grant, like, he's like, we want you to be our kicker. I was like, do you want to be our kicker? I was like, yes, coach, yes. And he's like, great, man. Like, we wanted to call you, make the offer. Like, it's a verbal commit. You can't sign till, obviously, your senior year.
Yeah.
But, glad to have you on board. And like, really from there, like, it was all kind of like a blur. Like, that's really what all I remember from the conversation. It was quick. Gave it to Coach Banks. Coach Banks was like, congratulations. Yeah. And then he was like, call your parents. Call my mom, call my dad. My mom was like excited, like, you know what I mean? Like, and my dad was very, very happy. And I went back in the room, and they were like, "Oh, so like, what are you in trouble for?" Like, I'm not in trouble. Like, I just committed to Florida State, and everyone in the class was like, "Let's go."
Oh, that's hype. That's
so
hype.
Like, because it's Central Florida, so like a lot of Florida State, Florida rivals, kids. Like, so it was like 50-50.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was an early commit. That was my first offer. I committed and I stayed. I never decommitted. I never wavered. And like, not how it is nowadays, where like kids will,
there's like very, very little commitment at this point.
Very little commitment.
A verbal commitment means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And you commit, and like those commitments back then were, you're staying there for 4 years.
Right.
If you transfer out of the conference, you're not playing for 2 years.
Right.
You transfer in, or if you transfer inside the conference, you're not playing for 2. If you transfer outside, you're not playing for 1. You're still sitting out.
Exactly.
So like, you went there. It was like a
commitment. It was an actual commitment.
And you knew you were going to be there for 3 to 4 years, 5 years if you redshirted, or you stayed longer. But nowadays it's changed, and like, it doesn't mean as much because like kids now want to transfer, and that's a whole nother conversation we can get into by NIL. But
the volatility is wild nowadays. But it was a testament to those times in college football where it was like, if you committed, like that was going to be your school for the next 4 years, unless something drastic happened.
Unless something drastic happens, there's certain scenarios, but I think it puts more stress on the coaches, because the coaches got to be like, who's staying, who's leaving. I got to
be
recruit.
Constant. Transfer portal.
Season's over. I got to go, travel, which recruiting's already hard in itself.
Right.
But like, and then like your fan base, like your fans are like,
exactly.
Oh, like I barely now I just wreck it. Like I know this guy's name. Now he's gone.
It's impossible to keep up.
Like who's number? You know what I mean? Like. It's a huge debate, and I talk to a lot of my buddies and people about it, and like when they ask me what do I think, and I'm kind of just give it to them, like it's always changing, and like now, like wait till the players start getting paid more than like some of these like boosters that are like donating. Like
Mhm.
you're telling me like that kid, like I don't know. There's a lot of weird like
It's volatile for sure because I mean you already have boosters that have been donating over the course of the last few years since it's been around, and the programs necessarily haven't had a ton of success. So
Yeah.
now the boosters are like,
yeah.
well, what am I giving the money for if
Exactly,
you guys?
exactly.
So then now that's creating a whole other layer to
Exactly.
it where some schools are getting more money, other schools are not,
Yeah.
and then you're really competing against dollars at this point and
Yeah.
accessibility to
Well,
funding.
Did you see I think it's a Netflix show that LSU coach, what's his name?
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly
Yeah.
is represented, has the same agent that one of his players has.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So it's
Yeah.
like, you know
That's
what I mean?
crazy.
Like what? Like it's gonna start getting weird. But
It is. I mean, it's gonna become like the NFL. There's
It's-
got to be like a salary cap.
So
to all of
they're
this.
so they're talking about cap. They're talking about like college, like a players association for the
Oh,
player.
wow.
Like, yeah, it's basically like turning into the NFL. And
That's
like
insane.
I don't know, man. It's different. It's not amateurism, like
Mhm.
kind of like where it was like we're playing for the heart
To
we're
make it into the
We're
league,
playing like
hopefully.
that's
Yeah.
the goal, like
Yeah.
to make it into the league, and like we were
Well, one
we're
thing
kids,
is you got an
like,
education, obviously. And,
yeah,
the kids were obviously obligated to some sort of compensation,
yeah.
considering like
No,
can't work a job
and
and
I
things
look,
like
I
that.
completely understand. Like the school makes the money off
Mhm.
basically football,
Right.
and like I get that argument that people say like a player should be played or should be paid, but there needs to be more regulations.
No, yeah,
because
for
like
sure.
when
It's
you're
the Wild West
when
right
you're
now.
18 to like 21, like and you get like all that money, like
Mhm.
I don't know, like either more financial literacy classes or like
True.
or dispersing it.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot you can read up on it, but it's
Doesn't
changing.
necessarily-
It's changing.
exactly.
You read
Mhm.
up something 6 months later, it's a
It's
different
different.
rule.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're definitely in a huge transitional period in
Yeah.
college football that hopefully we get it right, especially for the kids, for the coaches, for everyone involved. Because you talk about like, oh, back then when we were playing, like it wasn't like this, and like so like now it's you got kids you got starting quarterbacks taking vacations to like Italy during the off season,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Driving,
barely have it, like,
driving Range Rovers.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Lambos.
well, that and then you got your old linemen that don't really get that much
No.
because they're old linemen. They're not
it's 'cause
marketable.
it's like the
Yeah, they're
the sexy
Yeah,
positions that are getting all the love, and
So it's
who's the
like
one that's more popular than this guy.
Exactly.
It's opened a can of
Yeah.
worms that I don't think they realized what was going to come with it, and I think now it's like you learn as you go and you
Yeah.
adapt as you go. But until then, it's not. It's like there's going to be some growing pains in this.
Yeah. And like I said, that's a whole wormhole.
Yeah,
We get down
yeah.
to like back to
Yeah, tell me a little bit about like obviously your time
Yeah.
with Jimbo at FSU. Obviously, those 2 years became pretty generational run for
Yeah.
Florida State, led by Jameis on
Yeah.
offense there, and then just a ton of talent across the board, and just national
Yeah.
championship. Like it was a crazy 2 years for Florida State.
Crazy 2 years. And looking back, like when we were going through it, like that first 2013 season, I
Mhm.
redshirted my 2012 year.
Mhm.
Jameis was also redshirted
Yeah.
behind EJ. But like that class of Darby, PJ Williams, Eddie Goldman, Jameis, me, like we were a very first. It was a good recruiting class.
Yeah,
But like we meshed very well, and we got to learn behind EJ. I got to sit a year and learn behind Dustin, which I'll go more into that about how huge that was.
hmm
So leading up to the 2013 year, no expectations of winning a national championship. Like we had just won the Orange Bowl, like we beat Northern Illinois, but it's like Northern Illinois, like we lost 2 games. We were like 10-2, which was great, but like we had Clemson that had Taj Boyd, and like there was roadblocks in front of us.
absolutely.
And so, anyways, we go to the spring game, play well, whatever. And I feel like we were just a bunch of kids just having a good time playing ball. And I think Coach Fisher, I like to call him Jimbo, like
Yeah,
Coach Fisher,
Jimbo.
Did a good job of keeping us week to week, not like our goal is to win a national championship, which, you know, at Florida State, it should be. But
Right, it's almost like the standard, but if you focus too much on the end goal, you're going to, you know, week to week.
Yeah, you look at the top of the mountain, it looks, you
it's
know.
like, I don't know how
just
we're
look
gonna
at, just look at the next step in front of you, you know. So he did a good job of, our opponent has no face, and we, every week, you know, this week, that's all we focus on. We don't focus on the opponent after, we just focus on this week. Dotting our I's, crossing our T's. There's all these sayings that Coach Fisher had, and that Dr. Elko guy that would come. He would also bring in good speakers that would come to talk to us, and find a crumb. Like that was on our undershirts for the games. Find a crumb, meaning like you don't have to get the whole meal, like the whole bread. Like all we got to do is find a crumb every day. When you go to practice, find a crumb, and man, like when we went out the pit, beat them, it was kind of like, yeah, we won. Yeah. Like, at least for me, like I look at it like we won, like cool, like, you know, Jameis did good, but like I watch him at practice every day and like he does the same thing. So like it was no surprise to us. Yeah. Obviously what you see in the media, like Jameis Winston, freshman, like, you know, goes blah, blah, blah.
Of course.
This is great. And you go Pitt, we won a couple of divisional games, like against, I can't remember who the games were after, but I remember Pitt first game, and then week like 5 or 6 was Clemson, and we had won all those games, but it never really was like we like really did anything. It was almost like we kind of like we're supposed to win, like good job we won, but like
that was like the true.
But Clemson was the biggest test. We were 4, they were 3 ranked. We had college game day. It was our first big crack at like, like, all right, now it's like a test. And it was in Death Valley, like at Clemson.
Yep.
So the whole week, like we had good practice week, and like we knew like if we play good, like we'll give him a good run, and like all we want to do is get to the fourth quarter and like, you know, give ourselves a chance, right? We did good about not making a lot of errors. We were good situationally. 4-minute, 2-minute, like we would always work those situations on Thursdays. Like we would come in, like need a field goal, you know, all that. Like I like subconsciously, like you remember like how coach would run the practices, and like very good competition, like never like, oh, we're lacking in this area, or like we were good, but this was our first test with someone else that was really good. And we go in there, and they had it on the TVs or somewhere where, like, you know how Clemson goes up, they drive in there in the bus and they go up to the top of the stadium?
Yeah.
They were in there, they were moving the buses, and they were like running down that rock where they touched the rock.
Hell and all that. Yeah, all that nonsense.
And we were like, all right, they're ready to play. Like, all right.
I mean, it's a crazy environment.
And I remember when we were on the sidelines warming up before we were going in, I was talking to my punter, Kaysen, and like we were like closer than we are now, like on the bench. And I was just like, he's like, what? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I can't hear you. I'm like, dude, it's loud. First biggest test of like, we were prepared though with the silent count. Like we weren't like, you can't, it's always like the center looks back, quarterback's ready, he taps. There's all different ways to do silent count, but we were ready. We kick off. I remember I was nervous. I think we started out with kickoff. I got too hyped. I worm burned it down the middle of the field. Coach's like, what are you doing? I'm like, because Sammy Watkins is back there. And I'm like,
I'm like, I don't want to kick it to him and start the game with an opening kickoff or a touchdown.
Oh man, but that was a good learning experience for me. I was like, dude, I can't get hype because I'm a kicker. Like I don't need to I'm not running down there. I'm not running down there to go hit somebody. Like I got to stay composed because I got to hit it well because Sammy Watkins can return kicks. And no, I mean the rest is history. Like we score and then we sack fumble Taj. LaMarcus returns it. dude, 51-14. Like,
Straight.
wait, no. It was it 51-14? I can't remember the score.
It was a beatdown. I remember
It was a
that.
beatdown, yeah. And I think it was 51-14. But it was like that stadium got so quiet.
Yeah.
Like after we were up by like 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, like.
Did that kick like a switch in you guys though? Like,
Oh
holy
yeah.
shit.
After
like,
that,
this
we're
might be like we could do this now.
We could do this because the other opponents were like, who else was it?
Yeah, usually those ACC schedules is it's like
Clemson,
you got a big game and then you'll have a stretch of a couple lighter games.
Yeah, Miami.
What happened in that Miami game?
We won. I can't remember. I think it was.
He's a Miami guy.
No, man, but like Miami, like growing up, like the rivalry, like with Florida State.
Of course,
like,
yeah,
dude,
one
Miami,
of college
like,
football's best. Rivalries.
Yeah, I always respected them. Like going in, like they're like
that year. I don't remember if that was in Miami or at Florida State.
I can't remember either. But they're like Miami would always like they're a team that could beat us if we didn't play well.
Right.
But at the end, like going back, like we didn't know how good we were until we beat Clemson, and now we're like, okay, like we're good.
Yeah,
we can.
Not only
hang.
beat Clemson, beat Clemson on the road,
stomp them.
Yeah, in prime time, and then make it a statement.
Media, like we're all on TV, like Florida State, Jameis Winston. We dominated that whole schedule. Like Wake Forest, like, you know what I mean, like. That's how I got That's how I broke the NCAA scoring record.
Because you had so many opportunities.
So many kicks. Like, and man, but like, it was just fun. It was just smooth,
I can imagine. Like a guy like obviously like you're seeing Jameis like in another light right now. Obviously, we know Jameis from Florida State and his career in the NFL. He's obviously moved around, but he's become such like a big personality.
But you know what? He was that guy at Florida State.
Yeah,
and he needs to be that guy to play well. And I think when he went to Tampa, like originally, like he had to be the first round, the franchise quarterback. So like you can't be joking around. Like you can't be like, and like
you almost feel like that seriousness almost like took that spark away from who he is.
Going back to like understanding if you're a coach, if you're a GM, if you're understand like not everyone's going to be the same. Like if you're thinking about someone you want in your head about like, oh, they got to be serious and they might not function well in that. And like I know like the you want to be the face of the franchise, so you got to be serious, you got to be, but like after Tampa, I noticed when he went to the Saints, like he is more open like publicly, and like now he's full blown like
for
joking
sure.
and happy and like, but that's how he was at Florida State, and like that's how kind of we all kind of just were kids and like
just having fun with it,
having fun, and like everything gelled, like we were cool, like everything just worked, and we beat Wake Forest, we beat all these teams. Like I don't know if you've seen the Jimbo Fisher interview that they had with Freddie Stevenson, but he was going off on stats like we're the highest point differential. Oh, so he said we're the highest point differential, second highest point differential ever in college football.
Wow.
The only team that's beat us was LSU, like 3 years ago.
The Joe Burrow year.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they had 15 games. We had 14.
Okay.
And they beat us by 1 point.
It was a 1 point difference in point differential between the two.
Yes. They had an extra game. Okay. So stats like that, like I don't like.
No, it shows a level of dominance, obviously, that came in.
But then I saw something else, like in the last like 25, 30 years, we're number one, and like by a lot.
Yeah,
it was like 39 and a half, like point differential.
It was a dominant football team.
And I don't know if you've seen the graphic where it's like every one of the starters ended up going to the league. However long, some people are still there, some people aren't. Right. But dude, we were like,
I forget how many first rounders came out of that team, but I think it was like double digits.
Probably, yeah.
Between like that year and the year after.
Yeah. But heading to so we win the AC championship game. We're cruising. We have award season. Jameis wins the Heisman. Davey O'Brien, Stork won the Remington Award, best center. Nick O'Leary wins. I think whichever one goes to the Mackey. O'Leary won the Mackey. I won the Groza. LaMarcus Joyner won the Jim Thorpe, whatever the defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was award season.
Yeah,
like
that's
it was
crazy.
like everything's like
That's crazy.
Like, it's great. The student, the fan base, like
Mm-hmm.
we're playing the Auburn Tigers in Pasadena. And what's funny is I thought we were gonna play Alabama. But we played Florida that year, and that's the last game of the season when you play your
Of course,
rivals.
yeah.
So we were coming back from Gainesville. We had beat Florida. We were coming back from Gainesville, and it was the game where Auburn, Alabama,
Was that the
kick six.
the kick six game?
We saw it on the bus.
I remember watching that game live. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Dude.
That's what.
So Auburn wins. No. Yeah, Auburn won on the kick six. Yes, yes. And that put them in the SEC championship game, which led them to
getting into the title
to
game.
us.
Wow.
But if Bama would have won, I think that would have been a whole different story. We would have played
Interesting.
Bama, and that would have been obviously
A
huge.
different, yeah.
But the kick six was crazy.
No, that was one of the craziest plays I've ever witnessed live on TV.
We were
in
on
football
the
history.
bus, and we were watching, and we were like,
You're
what?
just
We're
thinking,
watching on the
like-
little screens in the bus,
Yeah, because how many times have you seen that moment happen? You're like, okay, whatever,
Nope,
he'll get tackled,
yeah.
and then you're like, oh my god, he's
Yeah,
breaking
yeah,
this, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
gone.
Well, that's and we started practicing that after.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not gonna let that happen to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, we started practicing that after, and coach puts me back to 64 yards, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to make this.
Yeah.
And I make it. And who was the returner? The returner that returned it in the national championship, not Bobo, Kermit Williams.
Mhm.
He was back there, and he just was like,
He's like, I can't do anything with this one.
and Jimbo's like, damn it. He's like, I didn't think you were gonna make it.
He's like, you gotta push
Yeah,
me back
so
further.
that's my furthest in practice in
Nice.
a live situation. But no, we practiced well during bowl practice in Tally. We went out there, dude, and I think I'll tell people like that's the most like calm and comfortable. Like obviously other games I was calm and comfortable, but like I wasn't really nervous. I don't know why. I think just
At that point,
I
you
didn't
feel so settled in.
so settled in, but I didn't make it more than it needed to be. It was like we were just having fun and like we were playing and like it's just like
It's another game.
it's just another game. Like
Yeah.
I remember like Kirk Street, Lee Corso coming by, like I was driving the bike, like Nick Saban came up to me and he was like, we should have recruited you. He's like, if we had you, we would be here.
That's
Because
pretty
of
cool.
the kick six, you know?
That's pretty cool.
I laughed. I thought that was funny.
That
And,
is
like,
pretty epic.
But all this like happened before, like right before kickoff, because you know how they're getting off the field.
Yeah.
And, like there's everyone and like anyone is on the sideline.
100%.
And I remember the smoke and everything, but like I was just like, just put it where you need to, and like
Do what you do best.
yeah, and like that's going back to like success and like
That repetition.
yeah.
Oh, repetition breeds that confidence.
Repetition and like your competitors and you know you're ready, you're prepared. But we started the game and like we weren't doing really well and like
Yeah, it was a slow start.
But then our old QB coach was now with Auburn. And have you heard the whole thing about stealing the plays?
Well, I know that's a thing like nowadays
yeah.
more than it's ever been before. But
So allegedly, like it did happen
in that game,
because he knew some of the signals, and
he was picking.
I don't know if it's
he
really
was
come
picking
out or
up
not.
signals from you guys
Yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
relaying it over to the defense.
because like James would come like they're
like,
freakishly like there
too
when
quick
too
to
quick,
spots.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think like Coach Fisher like changed up the plays or came with a different
Like signal package.
yeah,
kinda
but for
thing.
some reason he was like, let's just put up towels. Putting up towels to the signals. And we started actually
Yeah, things
moving the
started
ball.
going.
Yeah, things started moving.
Interesting.
So that was a big thing inside the game.
Yeah.
And I had a kick early on in the game that was huge because we ended up winning by 3.
Yep.
And their kicker, the kicker that I kicked against in my first camp, missed one.
Wow.
And I still give him shit to this day. And when I see him, we won't talk about football, but like, whenever it comes up, I'm like,
hey, by the way, you remember that kick?
Or oh, we're in the ring, like, you know?
It's just like a nice little subtle flex right there. That's sick.
Oh, but no, I had another field goal in the third or fourth quarter that ended up putting us
kind of being the difference maker.
Kind of being the difference, but really that kick 6 by Kermit returning it.
Huge.
The guy on Auburn caught a cramp and he fell down and he just caught a cramp.
Oh,
and
wow.
Kermit,
And that opened it up.
Yeah. Ooh. And man, that was amazing. I was on the sideline. I was really kind of like, dang, this is happening. We were down by like 20, 21 points.
Was it that big at one point?
Yeah. At one point, it was like 21-3, I think, or 24-3. I remember because I watch it like every now and then.
Do you really? I got
at least like 2 times a year. I'll just put it on the back and just
hell yeah. Are you kidding me? Glory days.
Because it's one of the craziest like national championship games.
100%.
If you can remember, like in the past, like 20, 30 years, like I thought like, damn, we're getting crushed. Like we going back to halftime, we come back, like things go right. That dude catches the cramp, we return it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it's like that momentum shift there.
That momentum shift, and then the last drive, dude. Jameis goes in there, and like, all right, guys, like here we go, like we're gonna do it. I forget specifically what he said. He said something. I forget. No, all the plays were drawn out, like Rashad catching it, running up, like, and we didn't need a field goal, so I'm like, I'm useless now. Like, we need a touchdown. But my field goals put them in
that position to be able to.
Yeah, because if we didn't, then it's like, well, we're done. Like they scored, the game's over. So, but we had prepared the 2-minute, like every week.
It was for this moment right there.
This moment, man, and. That last play was the KB, and Brian Stork has painted some of the paintings of the final play. I forget what it's called, but he writes it on the art. Yeah, on the art. And dude, cover of Sports Illustrated, like he scored, and like everyone like goes crazy, and we're like, we gotta kick the extra point because there was still time on the clock. Like, we gotta kick the extra point. And I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta go run out there.
At that point, you're already like in that celebration mindset. Like, holy shit, we just pulled this off.
Yeah. And then like we kick it, and we're like, was that time expired? I think I had to kick off again.
There was a little bit of time, but it was like garbage time.
So I had to go kick off again. I got to go kick off. Kicked off, held them. They didn't return it.
Yeah.
And man.
And then that was pretty much it.
That was pretty much it. Like. It's really like
that's got to be one of the most like surreal moments.
Because in the moment we didn't know the history that we were making. Not how easy, but like we were able to accomplish it. You thought, oh, we're just gonna do it again next year,
right?
Like we have the same coach, like
we're running.
Jameis is still here, like maybe some guys are leaving, but like we're gonna get recruits coming in because we're national champions. We had Jalen the next year, Ramsey, and
true.
But still, man, like that one group of guys, like
it was special.
We did it that year. That next year, we came up short against.
It was a dominant run, though. Yeah,
it was a dominant run. Like
we won undefeated up until the Rose Bowl against Oregon, against Mariota, who obviously had a great college career and made it into the NFL as well, and has succeeded in the NFL.
Yep.
But I mean, most college football programs would love that. And I remember there was a time because I was 13. Yeah, I was a sophomore that second year. So freshman year was the national championship year, and then sophomore year. And I remember like talking to one of my boys. It was the Clemson weekend in Tally the second year, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, bro, like what happens if we lose? Like, what are we gonna do? And then we look at each other and like, I don't know. We haven't lost yet.
No, dude, I know. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, we didn't know what losing was for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what was part of our, not demise, but us losing and out in
At that point, like the math starts to kick in. It's like it's just a matter of time before it goes down. Like it's hard to win already as it is. It's hard to win for that long of time. Like mistakes are gonna happen, and a good team is gonna be able to take advantage at one point. And certain breaks can only go your way. Like it's like it's math. It's
that
due.
whole year we were kind of like
a lot
squeaking stuff out,
bro.
The Louisville game.
There were so many games that year that were like, holy shit, we just escaped that.
Yeah.
Even Clemson Halloween weekend was like a
when Carlos ran it at the end. I thought I was gonna have to hit the game winner. Yeah. Carlos ran it. I was like, dang. But like good stuff. Because that's when Jameis was out. Mm-hmm. Sean was quarterback. Dude, like that's what you're fighting against.
Exactly.
Like, stuff
and
like
the fact that you continue to get through that is wild. Is wild.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. So like we were fighting through stuff that year, barely squeaking out wins, but we would get them. We would get them, and like coach would be like, we didn't play good, like we didn't, but like we ended up coming out with a W, and like that's all that matters. Like, but Oregon, I remember when we were out here, we didn't have really good practices leading up. I think we were kind of just a little overconfident.
Yeah,
we're just like we'll find a way to win.
Well, you haven't lost in so long, so it's like how do you? Like, where's the motivation at that point, too?
Yeah.
Like obviously, there's motivation every, week to week to just continue to win.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need that little kind of like knockdown to be like, shit, this is what it feels like.
Yeah. And like, think about like the freshmen that year were like, we haven't lost. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so they just think like, oh, we're good. And like, so like, we didn't have a good week. I remember Coach Fisher being like, this week of practice out here sucked. Like, you guys need to like
figure it out
because. And we went in there, dude, on our heels. Like, I think we were just like, oh, we'll fix it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oregon came in there.
Ready to punch.
Ready. Like, they were ready. And we, like, I think we were just behind the ball. Like,
that was Cristobal was there, right? That year? Cristobal? Was Cristobal head coach of Oregon at that time?
Oh, no. Yeah. I think.
Right?
Because Cristobal was before Willie.
Yeah.
He might have been, but, dude, but nothing was going our way. Like we were just once. Like,
no, there was a lot of bad breaks in that game. Obviously, you had the Jameis play with like kind of like the slip fumble, and it just kind of felt like we could never get that momentum going.
Before half, I hit a field goal. It would have been my career long. It dinks off the upright. Just like
it's just nothing wanted to go.
Nothing very like
the magic just started.
And like we're
disappearing.
And it's almost like in that moment we're kind of like, dang, we haven't been in this like.
Yeah, how do we get out of it?
And we just couldn't get out of it, man. And like that was the game to get us to another national championship. Yep. And no, but eventually it was going to come, and I think it came. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it stinks, but we needed that, and it kind of like it was like we had a whole off season to sit on it, and like, but it shows you like how hard it is to win a national championship, 100%. And like for Nick Saban to do it, like
how often has he's done it?
He's a different like, but like he's Nick Saban, you know what I mean? Like, but no, it's great to be part of that. We just had our 10-year reunion.
Nice.
Couple
that
years ago. That was good. And you're always etched in FSU history. Like everyone knows the 93 100%. Team. Everyone knows the 99 team. And now it's the 13 team. And it's good you always have a connection with them. And it's good to, we hope that the program does a little bit better this year. But it's always like pushing for the guys and like, because when you were there, you would see the old guys come back. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's good to have the players come back and
absolutely
give that motivation. But
we start this year with Bama. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm not going. A lot of people have asked.
Yeah,
but new stadium.
A lot of changes in the stadium.
But like I think there's low expectation for this year, and I think
lower than like the standard for Florida State.
Lower
obviously.
than the standard.
I think with everything that happened last year. Plus what happened the year before, undefeated season, it's like, holy cow, they did it. Unfortunate things happened with Travis and all that. And kind of didn't get in, even though we all know they deserve to be in there. Simple math. You win, you go undefeated, you're power conference, like you deserve to be in there, right? But injuries happen, and then they're like, nope, sorry, you're not going to get in. And then to have that follow-up year, the year after, it was like, what a turn of events. So now it's like, where does this team even stand right now?
So like last year going out to Ireland, like everyone was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we're gonna go beat
100%,
Georgia Tech."
yeah.
Bro,
Georgia Tech comes in and you're like, it's ACC
It's
game on the
okay.
road,
Yeah,
tough
yeah,
going.
yeah.
We'll bounce back. We win
No.
out. We'll be fine. And the rest is
Dude,
history that year.
it was
ugly.
tough to be a fan last year.
It was ugly.
And this year, like honestly, like this year, like if you're a Florida State fan, just play football. Like there's yeah, like but like there's like like the quarterback, he's out there
Tommy.
like, oh, we're gonna we're gonna do that. And like Jimbo, like we didn't ever do that when we were there. But like if he has the confidence and like that's great. Like but at the end of the day, like Coach Fisher would be like, you're gonna have to play them on the football field.
Yeah.
Like that's the real time. So hopefully, they do go out and end up, playing well. And all you want is good football.
Of
like
course.
Good football.
Competitive football. Big games.
No penalties, like or like, reduce penalties. Like if you play a good game, game plan well, coach well, like, and if you lose, that's okay. You're okay. If the other team just outright beat you.
Yeah.
But if we go out there, shoot ourselves in the foot, like drop passes or like,
mistakes that like you can avoid
drop
for yourself.
a punt, they get it. They, easy scores for them. That's like
exactly. You're giving the game away.
Exactly. So that's really all you hope for the season. Good ball and like good competition.
Yeah.
No expectations. Just go out there, play, and
I think that's kind of like the beauty of having the year that you have is like you just no expectations going into this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like. You want to say like put it like
whereas like the reverse of last year was like expectations high because you're like you kind of got to prove something because you got snubbed of not making it into the playoffs having an undefeated season, and then it's like bar is so high that the pressure starts to hit you and then bad things start happening and then it's just stacking over and over and over and over again.
But I think too, you're right there, but I think too now we have to put in more into consideration the NIL.
Yeah, true.
That kids can transfer because we had Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, like all these transfers that came in, and now they're all gone.
Yeah.
And Norvell hit on those, but then the next
can you
continue to hit because you're gonna have guys that leave out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Guys that leave, and then it's like, can I replace them? So.
Yeah. That's but kind of before we wrap it up.